Hi guys, I'm B-Boy. Welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. Remember, if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Okay guys, in today's clip I have this strong message from Dr. Arikana, whereby she has really passed a strong message across all Africa and across all Caribbean country. She has stepped out and said that the only way the African and Caribbean country should come together is by uniting. Kindly have a look at this clip and then you come back for more discussion.
I challenged ECOWAS when they were trying to mobilize the military to go and fight Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Oh, we can have a coup. I said, help me understand something. France has had coups against these nations for centuries. When France is forcing these countries to deposit their bank reserves with France, that's a coup, an economic coup. President Tinubu, what have you done about this coup? You are sitting on the big boy chair now. Talk to me. What are you going to do about this coup? When France is making sure that all natural resources for these countries belong to France, that's a coup. What are you going to do about it, ECOWAS? These are coups. But somehow, we don't see them as coups because it's the white men doing it. If a black man was doing the same thing to another black man, oh, you know, they'll call them out in a heartbeat. We have a serious problem as Africans. We don't even realize how sick we are with this disease. We are not just sick at home. We are not just sick in the doctor's waiting room. We are not just sick in the general ward in the hospital. We are in the intensive care. It's deep. You see, as a doctor, I cannot help you unless you come to me with your complaint. At least recognize that you're sick. But most of the time, we don't even realize that we are sick. So where do we begin? This stupidity that is going on in Africa has got to come to an end. And you can't expect those who put us in positions of servitude to get us out. It's not going to happen. So the question is, when is the African going to wake up? The African is stupid in Africa. The African is stupid in America. The African is stupid in South America. The African is stupid in the Caribbean. Wherever you see us as black people, we do some of the most stupid things. You go into neighborhoods. In America, where I've spent most of my time, look at the Mexicans. They stick together like super glue when it comes to issues pertaining to their existence in the United States as Mexicans. The Irish, the Jews, the Chinese, the Indians ask for their voices loud and clear because they understand the importance of unity. They don't have to love each other, but they understand when it comes to issues pertaining to their sheer existence, they must stick together like super glue, and they do. But when you ask for the voices of black people, we scatter like mice. We don't believe in each other. I was in Dallas and one Zimbabwean, I was asking, are there a lot of Zimbabweans who are you? No, I don't talk to Zimbabweans. I'm the only black person in my neighborhood, and she was so proud of it. I'm speaking to another friend, this time in Zimbabwe. She was so proud that her son cannot speak Shona, and that the son speaks English like a British. And she's telling me this with a certain level of pride. And that's the mother. which means the child is just as doomed. When are we going to wake up and realize that our inability to move forward as a people is because we were defeated where it matters the most? I'm so glad we are sitting here in an institution of higher learning. I'm going to ask you to say, what are we going to do about the educational curriculum? Because that's where it begins. They don't want us knowing our history. They don't want us knowing where we came from. Because if you are a person without a history, who are you? Where do you come from? As Africans, we are too busy running away from who we are. We don't want to embrace our Africanness. Why not? If you refuse and don't accept your Africanness, then who are you? I tell the Africans when they try to act like they want to speak like an American, they want to lose their accent. You can never speak English like an American. Then you don't want to speak your own vernacular. Then who are you? You are just like a ship without an anchor. The wind blows that way, there you go. The wind blows that way, there you go. And there are too many of us who find themselves in that boat without an anchor. What's happening in Burkina Faso must be supported. What's happening in Mali must be supported. What's happening in Niger must be supported. If you care the least bit about our future, how else are we going to get France out of Africa? How else are we going to get Britain, Germany, all those former colonizers? They're now in as multinationals, siphoning billions out of Africa, using safe havens to hide their returns. We know they're here. They are now wolf in sheep's clothing. What is it going to take? If you look at the move that Niger made, by simply saying, France, you can no longer buy our uranium for 80 cents a kilo, when we know very well you're selling it for 200 euros per kilo. Niger was realizing about 1 billion out of the sales of its uranium a year, while France was realizing close to 300 billion. That one move alone, when Niger said, if you want our uranium, 200 euros a kilo, please. Immediately, 300 billion. 1 million. It's not going to take much to change Africa. We got what it takes. If there's one thing we're very fortunate of, we're endowed with everything the rest of the world needs. The truth of the matter is, we don't need the world. The world needs Africa. But do we really know that and believe in it and are ready to stand up and proclaim who we are? And let them know. But I've sat in meetings where I've seen ministers, America, can you help us with this? Europe, can you help us? Begging endlessly for something that we have. Whatever they are giving you is what they stole from us. And they are giving you peanuts. When are we going to stop being outsmarted by these people? They come smiling at you. They come to give you aid. You know very well that's your money. But we're so grateful. I once went to the World Bank. Oh, Ambassador, we have money for the African Union. Please, when the chairman comes, So the deputy chair came, and we went. They had $15 million for us. $15 million for the whole African Union. And here's the kicker. They were only going to give us 50% of that. And then when we can show them what we have done with the 7.5 million, then we can have the other 7.5. Blatantly insulting us. And I'm not supposed to say anything. I got my deputy chair, so I need to shut up. But I asked to go to the bathroom. And I called the chair. I said, could you please come down the hall? I said, let's not take that money. I don't know about you, but I feel highly and royally insulted. Treat you like a child. You don't know how to handle money. So we'll just give you 7.5 million. Let's see what you do with it. And then we may or may give you the rest. It's the same thing they're doing at the United Nations. When Africa is supposed to be at the UN Security Council as the 6th and 7th members of the UN Security Council. But you can't have veto power. So come on in, Africa. Oh, we got a kiddie chair over here for you. Sit over there, we got some cookies. Sit over there and be quiet while we take care of business. And we entertain that. Wow. What's wrong with this? What gives me hope is that we have a vibrant African youth who are saying enough is enough. We are not taking this anymore. This abuse has got to come to an end. The exploitation of the African continent has got to come to an end. The Berlin Conference must be dismantled. And for those of you who think Berlin Conference is a piece of history, guess what? It's a piece of legislation nicely designed over a period of 4 months to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated to this day. As long as there's a country called Malawi, as long as there's a country called Gabon with 1.5 million people, as long as there's a country called Eswatini, Berlin Conference is alive and well. And that's where we get defeated internationally through trade. Oh, you're all equal. You are a sovereign nation, Eswatini. You are a sovereign nation, Togo. You are a sovereign nation, Malawi. And every African country for that matter. So let's go to the market. You, Malawi, with your little basket, with 3 eggs, you're coming to the market. And here comes China with truckloads of eggs. I once was told that Zimbabwe thought, well, let's see if we can sell eggs to China. Let's supply some eggs. They're bringing stuff to us. Let's give them eggs. So I told the president, ask people to go do some research and see how much eggs we need to send to China. The report came back and said, Mr. President, the amount of eggs we produce the whole year, that's one breakfast in China. So you want Zimbabwe to go to the market with China and sell eggs? That's David and Goliath. And it was all by design. As long as we remain as the little-bitty economies that we are today, we are forever getting our rear ends kicked. The only way for Africa to survive is when we unite. A united Africa is a must, but it's going to take minds that are awoken, minds that understand the importance of unity, minds that are free of the legacy of colonization and the legacy of slavery. As we speak today, we're all sick from the disease. None of us is exempt. And that's a fact. I'm going to ask each and every one of you to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. And ask yourself why you feel the way you do. Why are you automatically afraid of those who don't look like you? Why do you feel defeated? Why are you afraid to speak up and stand your ground? Besides, you are the mothers and fathers of humanity. Without the black woman, without the black man, the rest of the world would not be. That's a fact. We civilized the world. They came to Africa and stole everything that they never had. Came back with what they stole from us and made us believe that they gave it to us. Timbuktu, Egypt. The Greeks, when they needed to be trained, where were they sent? To Egypt. Because it was already there. We're already doing it. But they want the history to start from here, so we don't talk about what happened before. My brothers and sisters, we are inheritors of an amazing continent. South Africa is an amazing country. We have people like Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, our very own president. People who suffered and sacrificed everything for this country to be free. Why are we trying to disrespect them and go back? South Africa should lead the way. Nigeria should lead the way. Kenya should lead the way. We have countries that should lead the way because they have what it takes to take Africa where Africa needs to be. But let me also add that the leaders cannot do it alone. I don't care what ideas President Zuma had. If we are not ready to implement those ideas and think he can do it as leadership alone, it's not going to work. I was discussing the issues of the quote-unquote coups in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. One African said, but Ambassador, why do we have to do coups to change government? Why can't we just do like the Chinese do? I said, son, let me ask you one question. During the pandemic, the Chinese built a 10,000 square foot hospital bed in 1 week. Are you Africans ready to do that? The Chinese are willing to work non-stop to do what needs to be done for the sake of country, for the sake of nation. We're too greedy, too selfish to do that. I said, son, until you start having the mind of a Chinaman, you can never be like a Chinaman. We have some serious introspection to do. We have some serious thinking to do. We're not asking you to love each other. We simply understand. We want you to understand that while there is a certain level of camaraderie that exists in other races, there was a strategy put in place to make sure that we remain divided and conquered. Fear was intentionally instilled in us. So we will be forever fearful for nothing, but we're just afraid. There's another book I want to recommend to all of you. It's called The Making of a Slave, the Willie Lynch Letters. Willie Lynch was a slave owner from the Caribbean. He had come up with a way of training his slaves so they would remain submissive for generations to come. One of the ways was taking a black man, tie one leg on one horse facing that way, another leg on another horse facing that way, and he will hit the horses, and they would literally split the man apart. In front of his children, in front of his family, in front of other black people and other slaves. And he particularly wanted the pregnant women. Why? That would be passed on, that fear would be passed on to even the unborn child. So it is over 400 years later, We almost underwent a genetic mutation of sheer stupidity. We were programmed to be afraid. We were programmed to almost be stupid and just do stupid things. The things that we tolerate, no man in any other country would tolerate. But we do. It's going to take all of you. The students, you are our future. We're counting on you. We're a lost cause. I feel encouraged when we have young people like our moderator. Young people who are awoken. Young people who are saying we can no longer continue to be lied to anymore. We know the truth. Is South Africa ready? Is South Africa ready to lead the way? To stand up and say enough is enough? That we can no longer continue to be exploited. We can no longer continue to be treated as second-class citizens in our own land.
Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. I hope you have listened to the full speech, and the great message from this speech is that without a black man or a black woman, the rest of the world would have not be the way it is. Dr. Arikana has really stepped out with a strong message, and she has really encouraged a lot of black people in black countries, Caribbean countries and Africa. Why are they being afraid of those people who doesn't look like them? Why are they being afraid of those people with different skin color? You feel like a lot of African leaders are too greedy, are too selfish. Same applied to Caribbean leaders, whereby they can't even manage to control their own countries. They're just depending on other countries so that at least they can benefit from them. You feel like a lot of African and Caribbean countries are being led by greedy and selfish leaders. This is the reason why a lot of these countries cannot be the way they others people want to be. They cannot be developed like other countries like China. They can't be developed like other countries like Singapore. He has really come out and said that during the pandemic, China took only 1 day to build around 700 hospitals. But in Africa or in Caribbean, it can really take a lot of months to build such a thing. She has come out and said that African people don't love themselves, similar to Caribbean people, don't love themselves, don't love or appreciate what they are doing. But she's really happy of how the upcoming youth have opened their mind and know what they really want. We have all seen a lot of youth from a lot of countries demonstrating on the street, seeing whether the government is doing bad, seeing that the government is being led by old people, they want new people. And this is the reason why Dr. Arikana is talking. She has come out and said that she has talked about where Africa is made up of big leaders like South Africa, talk about Nelson Mandela. Come to Caribbean, Jamaica, talk about Marcus Garvey, who have really made Africa or Caribbean the way it is. And Dr. Arikana feels like African Caribbean, they are so much rich countries. They have a lot of richness because of their resources, but they can't benefit from their resources. The reason why it's because their resources are being exploited by other or outside countries, whereby even if they can manage to invest or exploit their resources, they can't benefit from it because they import or export them to outside countries, whereby if these countries process this raw material, this process our minerals, they take them back to us, whereby they really sell this mineral to us at a very high or expensive price, whereby we are the one mining this mineral, they are the one in our own countries, but at the end we found ourselves that buying them at an expensive price because you can't process them. I remember there's a country in Africa, Uganda. Ugandan president really came out and said that there won't be any mineral that will go outside of Uganda without being processed. And this really made Ugandan people to develop. This really made the Ugandan country to develop a lot, because by the president giving such command, the country was able to build processing companies, and this created a lot of employment to a lot of youth in Uganda, and this led to development of roads and infrastructure in Uganda. And this is what African leaders should do. And Dr. Arikana has still come out and said that there is one person in Caribbean country who wrote a book and said that how to teach a slave on how to be a slave. He has still came out and said that earlier on the people or our African ancestors, how they were really or how they really face harsh condition, whereby you could find a man being put in a place, the rope tied from on one of her leg and the other rope on the other end, and they were all connected to the horse, whereby this horse were being beaten and this man was splitted apart. This was to show people the courage they should have, the strength they should have. They should not be afraid of anything, especially to those pregnant women. This was a form of to show this child to have a lot of strength. And we have seen how Africans people are so strong. Caribbean people, of how are they being strong? Because of the slavery trade that took earlier on. This is the reason why these people are being slave. A lot of people really ask themselves, why are Caribbean athletics, especially from Jamaica, how are they being able to win a lot of golds? How are they being able to run and become number one? It's because of the generation, slavery generation, and of what they eat. And Dr. Arikana still came out and said that the only way African Caribbean should unite is by becoming together as one. We should join our hands together to unite and to accept your wants. Caribbean countries should join their hands together and help the Haitian country. We have all seen what's really going on in Haiti. A lot of people in Haiti are really crying out for help. They want help from their neighboring countries. They want help from their black brothers and sisters, because you have all seen the wars that is in Haiti and it can't be stopped. We should join our hands together to go and help these people from Haiti to stop this war, because we all believe war is man-made and can be stopped. They should negotiate and see how these gangs can stop this war, because it's becoming too far. People are dying in Haiti. Small children, women are being raped, kids are being kidnapped for high ransom, and it's not a good thing seeing like our own brothers suffering because of gang violence in Haiti. Gangs launching new attack, whereby a lot of people are really just dying, and it's not a good thing to see our neighboring country or our brother country suffering. So we should join our hands together as Africans and as Caribbean countries to help the Haitian country to restore back its peace, to stabilize its economy, because we want us black people to go and visit to see what is in Haiti. We want other tourists that are really visiting, like in Jamaica and all Caribbean countries, to go and visit also in Haiti to see what's really happening in Haiti. We all believe that Haiti has a lot of resources whereby a lot of tourists can go and see, but due to war that is in it, there's no any tourist that can go to Haiti because of the war. So we as Africans, we should unite together as one. We all believe this world could not be without a black man or a black woman, because we have really dominated a lot. We have really done a lot. A lot of people are depending on black people. A lot of people are depending on African countries. Look at the largest oil producing countries. They are all in African. They are all in Caribbean. Look at a country like Guyana. They are all in Caribbean and in Africa. And we all believe all producing countries are the most richest countries. But due to greedy or maybe selfish leaders, you can find other countries that are producing, like Nigeria. They are struggling. But it's because of the greedy leaders that really don't know how to run the system. This is why small youth are stepping up, so that to fight this corruption in our all countries. And Dr. Arikana said that corruption can be ended. It's only depends on who is ruling your country. And that's a good point. Corruption can be ended. Our countries should be corruption free. Those leaders will create employment for our youth, so that we cannot suffer a lot. It was a great and a strong message from Dr. Arikana. A lot of people really love, and she has been a mentor to a lot of women in Africa, a lot of women across all the world. A lot of people really love how Dr. Arikana, how she talks, how she expresses word broadly, how she brings out strong message that heals a lot of people directly, how she really talk about the truth across all the world, what's really happening in our world. A lot of people really love Dr. Arkana. I myself really love her. So guys, let's do what's really right and what's really necessary. So if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you.